Hello, and welcome to another edition of Straight from the Training Ground, the podcast where we share our love for the beautiful game and the beautiful people out in their communities doing great things. I'm Jay, here with Ryan.
How's it going?
We are here for the OVPL Match Week 2 review. So thanks for everybody. We've gotten a lot of good feedback from last week, Ryan. Everybody's season pretty much fully underway now, I think, in all divisions and the women's side as well, which we'll get to here in a second. But I also want to just show the table here real quick. So on the Riverside here, we have Evansville Legends with 2 wins, Valhalla with 2 wins, and Northern Kentucky Nitro. And you can see the rest of the teams there so far. And we apologize; these may not be up to date as of right now, but they're the best that we have right now.
Yeah, we're still
And
waiting for the technology to be
yeah, we're waiting
rolled
for
out.
the technology to catch up. So on the Valley side here, we have Highlanders 2-1-1. Is that correct, Ryan?
That's not correct. It's not up to date, but we can talk about
Okay.
that in a little bit.
All right. Ambassadors FC, Club Ohio, and Canton Akron United Force, along with everyone else there you can see on that side. And on the women's side, we'll get to that here in a minute. But North FC with 1 win so far. And I can add, I know Club Ohio women picked up their first win last night. I was able to be at their game to watch them against Sporting Columbus, which we'll get to here in a second also. So before we move on, just want to give a quick shout out to the Sporting Columbus women's team and their coach Mark, along with the Club Ohio team and their coach Georgie. I was fortunate enough to have some time to pick up their game last night, Ryan. Their first game of the season, a lot of great college players in that game for both women's teams. Club Ohio came out with a 1-0 win, but it was a very competitive game. With that being said, Ryan, you guys just played recently as well. Picked up a win. Tell us a little bit about updates here for the Highlanders and your team.
Yeah, we had our third and fourth games. We went over to Canton Akron and played the Force. I think last Wednesday. Had a good game. We had a bit of a bounce back game for us. We had a bad result the weekend prior to that. So we went there. On the whole, played very well. We are a little disappointed to come away with the 1-1 draw. I think you'll see in some of the highlights here that you're going to queue up. I know you've got some video there. We got off to a great start with an early goal within about 45 seconds. And played well, kept the ball for the majority of the first half, getting into the second half, and then we kind of lost focus a little bit. That's, from our perspective. From Canton's perspective, they grabbed hold of the ball a little bit a lot more possession and put the pressure on, and it ended up with a penalty kick in the 85th minute, and they scored from that to tie it up. And but what was really great about the game, to be honest with you, there's probably about 150 people there at the game. Their fans, parents, and some of their youth team players were there to watch. Some of their kids, and we also had our Wheelunk traveling fans there as well from Wheeling. So it just culminated in a fantastic night match atmosphere. I just can't say enough about how good it was. The setting, obviously, in Canton is the Hall of Fame fields, that complex there next to the Football Hall of Fame.
Yep.
And it was just a really good thing. The result, a little bit disappointing for us, but it was a great game. And then we moved on to this weekend. We went off to Elite FC, and we got back in the W column with a win, 3-1 win against Elite FC in very hot conditions, about 90 degrees, as it was. If you remember, it was warm at the weekend.
Yeah.
That's where we are. And then this weekend we're going to be hosting Sporting Columbus here back in Wheeling at the Highlands.
Nice. And as you said, I know we talked off camera about the atmosphere. It's great to hear things. Our interview this week is with Coach Tate from Danville Locomotive. They're doing some great things. It's their first year in the OVPL down there. So they're doing some great things with some promotional things, getting their community involved. He had a lot of positive things to say about their ownership of their team and how they really want to do things the right way. And that goes along with what you said about the environment you experienced in Canton at your game. It's just great to see so many different teams and different clubs in their area, and the different, I guess, the different approaches they're all taking. But the publicity is growing, and there's more fans at games, more people supporting your team, and some of these other teams in different communities. Like I said, there's a good crowd at the Club Ohio Sporting Columbus women's game last night. which was on a Sunday night. So I think it's great to see that, and it's just great. You see more of that than I do going around throughout your schedule, but it's great to see the different approaches, I guess, that teams and coaches and their owners are taking to try to promote the game.
Well, I think you made a good point there. I think it's the owners and the clubs themselves are really started to think, hey, we have something here. And we'll talk about Danville. Obviously, they've really started something. Evansville have got something big over there too in the River Conference as well, in terms of bringing people out to games. On this side, we have Ambassadors up in Canton as well, who have some fantastic little things going on. They have food trucks at games. They have lots of fans. They have double headers with their U23 team and their OVPL team. Canton, I mentioned, and ourselves, we have a new VIP section now where people just get a little bit lubricated and enjoy the game. And then we've got actual fans at the game, our Wheelunk fan group that are singing throughout the match. And about 200 people there at games. And it really gives you the feel of a European semi-pro, non-league game of soccer. It really is exciting. And I have noticed this year that wasn't the case the last couple of years, but this year people have tried to step it up a little bit, and it's fun. It's fun being around it.
Well, that's great to hear. And here in a moment, we'll have our interview, as we said, with Coach Tate Spivey from Danville Locomotive. So look forward to that. And again, along those lines with what Ryan just said, get out there and support local soccer. A lot of great things going on all over the place throughout the summer. So, if you're not familiar, look on the OVPL website. Check us out on social media. You can get your own merch straight from the training ground. I know you want some, Ryan, down there on our website, straight from the trainingground.com. Follow us on social media, but follow all of these teams, whatever level you want to follow in your community, what league they're playing in, doesn't matter. Go out and support them. There's a lot of hard work that goes into their season from the coaches, the teams themselves, the people that help run the team. So support local soccer in your area. And with that, here's our interview with Danville Locomotive. We're very glad to have our guest with us this week, match week 2 of the OVPL review, Coach Tate Spivey from Danville Locomotive. Tate, thanks for joining us tonight.
Yeah, happy to be here. Thanks for having me.
So, Tate, tell us a little bit about Danville Locomotive. It's your first year in the OVPL, your background, how you got involved, all those kind of things.
Yeah, so I actually grew up in the Danville area, played college soccer, then actually coached college soccer for 6 years. Recently had a baby. We have a 1-year-old, so I kind of wanted to transition out of the college coaching world because of the travel and the time commitment and recruiting and all that. Wanted to be home a little bit more. And there's a couple owners in the local area that have been involved with youth soccer. They have multiple kids that have come through the Central Kentucky area. And I think they kind of just wanted to create an atmosphere that allowed kids to a pathway to progress, give them somewhere to play during the summer for their college teams. And then, if we can get a few homegrown guys to the next level after college, that'd be the ultimate goal. But, I think they wanted, good quality club. They wanted good coaching. They wanted, a good environment for those local kids to grow in. So it's been good so far.
That's great. Tate, just wanted to know, and I always ask this when coaches come on, what's the kind of makeup of your team? Is it college guys? Is it guys that are out of college? Is it maybe some high school guys, or all of those?
So year one, we kind of wanted to make a point to kind of keep it with just college guys for year one. We have a few guys who are seniors in high school. They're going to college in the fall, so they haven't had their first season yet. But other than that, completely full college guys, a bunch of local guys. A lot of the guys grew up in the Danville area. A lot of guys grew up in the Lexington, Kentucky area. And most of them still play somewhat local with the local colleges. So, like I said, it's just been a good environment for the kids to grow up in. I mean, when I played in the summers, I drove, an hour and a half, 3 days a week to play during the summer. So it's nice that people can get to practice in 10 minutes. So,
yeah, that's excellent. I mean, that's kind of similar to our club. You kind of set it up to bring some things like available locally rather than having to go all over the place to get some good quality soccer. That's excellent.
Yep.
So, Coach Tate, I got to ask the question that we've been waiting to ask. Every team in OVPL, lots of different groups have different takes on things, how they approach their season, trying to get local people involved to support their club. So Ryan and I both have been waiting to ask you about the $10,000 crossbar challenge, Danville Locomotive. Recently, it's a great promotion. We both saw it. So tell everybody out there a little bit about it and just the creative ways you're trying to get people to support the team.
Yeah, so we were actually approached by a local bank in town that wanted to be involved, and so we kind of the ownership of the club and then myself kind of got together and tried to figure out a way that was a soccer specific way that would draw some interest, get some crowds at the games, and we kind of ballparked crossbar juggling challenge, whatnot, and then when they threw some money in the direction, we were like, well, we need to make it difficult enough that they have to earn it as well, but also something that's doable. I think it was. Unfortunately, we were in the locker room at halftime, so we didn't get to watch or anything. But it was you get 3 chances, you got to hit a crossbar and one of the side bars, 2 out of 3. So it's challenging, but I think it's definitely doable at the same time. So it actually brought a pretty good crowd. I think first 2 games, I think we've averaged around 100 fans or so. So excellent. Not too bad.
And is that from the halfway line, from the circle? What's the
top of the 18?
From the 18. Oh,
from the 18, yeah. Get you excited, right? When you see that,
it seems doable, right?
Yeah, and I think at the Central Kentucky area, I think we maybe had a few non-soccer people like, "Oh, I can do that," showed up thinking they had a chance as well. So bring some non-soccer fans out, and then it's been a great environment so far, and that was a fun, exciting weekend as well.
Well, that's fantastic. Also to hear that you're getting 100 or so people at the games. We had a game midweek, and we've got a game coming up this Saturday, and the crowds are getting close to that as well. It is just a great thing, and I think having people at your games just really makes a difference, and I think it's just only going to grow. And you're doing that in your first year, which is very impressive.
Yeah, I think it shows that the community has been waiting for something like this to kind of come along, and so when I got approached about it, I was super excited being from the area, and then being able to kind of take my experience as a player and a coach and then be able to pass that along to the up and coming guys and then, give them that environment to play in. So it's nice to see the community's excited. A lot of local guys also brings families and friends out too. So got a little VIP area at the facility as well. And kind of make that a little thing as well. So it's been fun.
Fantastic. And Tate, just real quick, you said you have a playing background and a coaching background. Give us a bit of a info on that.
Yeah, so I played at Transylvania University in Lexington, Kentucky. Played there for 4 years. Upon leaving there, I became the assistant at Center College. Was the assistant at Center for 6 years, and then was kind of in the transition period. Anyways, like I mentioned earlier, had a new baby and kind of wanted to get out of the traveling aspect. And about the same time that myself and the head coach were chatting, that this opportunity came up, and it was actually a pretty easy transition. I'm actually getting to coach a lot of the guys that I recruited. I had to step away from the college to be able to do this, but not only the guys that were Center, I recruited just about every player that's on my team, and a lot of them went elsewhere to play. But it's kind of cool getting those guys to come back and be able to coach those guys for at least 1 year. We'll see what happens after year 1.
Excellent.
That's great. One last question, Tate, and we'll get you out of here. You guys just picked up your first win in OVPL, which has got to be exciting. 2-0, I believe, over Hoosier FC. So just tell everybody a little bit about that game. I'm sure it was exciting to pick up your first official OVPL win.
Yeah, getting that first win off your shoulders is always a good thing. But I think it's tough being in like an 8 to 10 week season. You don't have much time to really get into the tactics and that type of stuff with the guys. But when you're coaching high quality players, I'm a big believer in let's put in a high press that we can win the ball high up the field, and then let's put in some tendencies that really aren't too drastic. Some balls in behind, some cut runs, just making sure that your movements are pretty simple and the stuff that works. And our guys kind of bought into that. We kind of put in a little bit of a system where we win the ball high up the field, which then makes us easier going forward trying to score. So it was nice just to get, we went up 1-0 against Evansville in week 1. And then I think that first 90-minute game for a lot of the boys in a couple months, you saw the lines start to get separated towards the end of the game. And, they were a quality team and they put away their chances. So the 2-0 win was a good win against a really, really good team. I mean, they were quality all around the field. They moved the ball well, and they had a few chances that they probably should have had that would have made the game a little bit more interesting, but we capitalized when we had the chances to, and it's nice to get that first win.
Yeah, and Tate, I also want to say, not just your crossbar challenge. I've noticed you guys have a grass field, which it's like gold dust these days with all the turf fields around. So tell me a bit about that.
Yeah, so when we were in the conversation of building the club, the owners of the club, they wanted to run it as professional as possible. They wanted to make sure that facilities are right, uniforms, everything down to, like you said, grass fields. So that was one thing that they were really big on, was making sure that the players involved felt like they were treated the right way and were supported. And kind of in the early talks about it, though, one of the main points was that, if we can't get a grass field, we might hold off on when we start the team until we can make sure that everything is, top notch, because we don't want this to be a one and done thing. We want to be around for the long haul. And so I think that, investing in the beginning is a good way to make sure that you're attracting the right type of people and the right type of players to be around the program for the long run.
Fantastic.
Well, that's great, man. Tate, keep up the great work. Thank you for joining us tonight. Congrats on picking up your first win, and best of luck to you guys the rest of the season. And again, congrats on all the promotional things you're doing. It sounds like you're doing a lot of great things there in the Danville area.
All right, have a good one.
Will Schaefer.
Jacob Brett.
How you feel about today's performance? It was good to get 3 points again. It wasn't the prettiest. Felt like we played better last game, but we grinded it out, fought through, got 3 points, so can't be disappointed about that. How you feel about your debut?
I mean, it's always good to score on your debut. I love Club Ohio. Played here since I was a kid. I'm glad to make a good impression, and I'm hope to get more goals.
Tell us more about your goal. I didn't score.
So we started the game and we had some good chances. We're a new team, so it was nice to be able to get together and learn off of each other.
Good to play with some of my fellow ODU girls and some other people for other colleges, so it's just been fun.
It's our first game of the season. I think we did good coming out, being the first game. We got some work to do, but yeah, we'll keep it up. A lot to look forward to. Yeah.
We're really looking forward to getting closer together and really building the soccer on the field bond,
I'm Sammy.
I'm Riley. I thought today went really good towards the end of the game, first half. In the beginning, we were just trying to figure out who we are as a team. But at the end of that, we did really good together. I think it's going to be a good season.
I think looking forward, it's just learning how each other plays and just connecting, and we look forward to more wins, a lot more wins, and I think it's just going to be a fun summer playing together. We're all getting ready for college, high school, and just having a lot of fun.
Visit our new partners, UnoZero at UnoZero.com, where classic beauty and quality meet modern design and elegance for football boots and more. Join our official partners at Dutig Brand FC, where they create quality products to make your lives easier as coaches. Visit our partners at TractionSocks.com for performance grip socks created for all athletes.